Are you interested in creating your own agency? Maybe you're a successful insurance agent, but you're kind of wondering, how do you go from full-time insurance sales work to full-time agency work? What I'm going to do in this video today is give you my story of how I transitioned from a full-time successful insurance agent to a full-time successful insurance agency, and all the things that I think you need to be aware of so that you can incorporate and duplicate the process in your own system so that you can one day be a completely full-time agency builder. Howdy out there, it's David Duford, owner of the Ford Insurance Group. Thank you so much for watching. I help insurance agents become top producers to sell things like final expense and Medicare, both face-to-face and over the phone. Make sure you subscribe and like this video. Thank you very much. So the conversation today is really how to go from a full-time agent to a full-time agency owner. It's a very difficult task to do. Maybe you're just about to start the process of recruiting agents, or you're already in the middle of it, but you're just overwhelmed by the idea of selling full-time and then building an agency full-time. What I'm going to try to describe to you is how to make this transition or process smooth as possible, and then give you some direction on how to work your way completely out of the selling process of an agent to a full-time approach to recruiting and agency building. So let's go ahead and get started. So here's my story. So I started my insurance agency recruiting agents while a full-time agency somewhere between 2013 and 2014. I sold full-time that entire time. I thought at the time, and still do, it was really important for me to not just tell them about the business, but to show them and demonstrate them that I'm actually taking action on the same type of selling strategies and the same type of stuff that I'm teaching them as an insurance agent as well. Plus, when I started, I didn't have the same level of interest in my agency then. I was just starting off like everybody else. And I still had to go out and sell to make, my income, my money. So it was vastly important that I was going to do both simultaneously. So it took me a couple of years of full-time selling and full-time recruiting, working a lot of hours before approximately, I think it was July 2017, after about 3.5, 4 years, that I went ahead and went full-time into agency building because just the demand of my time just became so huge, and out of full-time production. I went down at that point on a part-time basis till about 2018, first or second quarter, when I completely rolled out of even part-time sales, and once in a while would go out and ride-alongs. So it took me quite a while before I went full-time to a full-time agency building from full-time selling. And here's some things that I've learned along the way that I think would kind of give you some good advice on what to do in order to make this transition without making any mistakes, because there are some pretty big landmines you can fall into if you're not careful. First of all, don't just give up on selling insurance, okay? So here's the problem. Whenever you're getting into any kind of agency building, you're responsible for not just yourself, but for others too. And even though you can control your activity, you cannot control your recruit's activity. Will they sell or won't they sell? You'll find out real quick that you just don't know. Some are going to do it, and actually most won't. This is a business where, at the end of the day, very few actually take action, unfortunately. So you cannot just give up on the thing you can control, which is your ability to sell and go out and sell people, and then let these people who are in your agency replicate or duplicate yourself. It's going to take more recruits, and it's going to take more time than you probably imagine to get to that point where you can duplicate your income that you make from personal sales from your agents in your agency. The other added thing you need to be concerned about is that now that you take on agents into your agency, you have now co-signed on a bunch of unsecured debt in the form of chargebacks or advanced commissions that you can get charged back on. So when you're out there selling insurance, you're really doing a form of income generation that's unique and separate from the overrides that you get from your agents. And the thing that you got to understand is, with multiple streams of income occurring simultaneously, it gives you a little bit more protection in case you hire that one rogue agent that leaves you with a $10,000, $15,000 plus chargeback. And guys, it happens. I know a lot of people in this business. Some of you out here are kind of already pulling your hair out because you've been through it yourself. I have had as well personally. There are agents who are losers. They will screw you over. They have no honor or decency or integrity. They will leave you with money that you now have to pay because you co-signed their advancing. And it's not a matter of if it's going to happen, it's just a matter of when. And if you get out of personal sales too quickly and you don't have the money from personal sales coming in, and you bring on an agent that charges you back all this in commission, you're going to be in a really bad position. So that's why I advocate still selling while you still recruit. And yes, it's going to take a lot of your time. Yeah, you're going to probably have to work 6 days a week. You're probably going to have to work 12 to 15-hour days, but who cares? There's always a price to pay to be successful. And guys, really, there's a price to pay to be unsuccessful too. I'd rather pay the price to be successful. And I can tell you at the other end of this, having done this since 2014, it is well worth the investment. And it took me many years to get past that point. But now I'm at a point where all of my income is derived from overrides. I don't have to sell at all. But this is what we have to do in the interim. And it's good because it keeps you at selling. It just keeps you safer. You have income coming in. You have a pulse on the business. You can be a more relevant direct help to your agents. And God forbid if somebody screws you with chargebacks, you're a little bit safer because you know you can always go out there, grind it out, pick up the work hours, and then make the money back to pay off the difference. So some other tips before we wrap this up. The transition from full-time agent to full-time agency owner can happen gradually. I would start to, as you start to develop agents, as you just start to develop the override potential, you're going to have to give up time anyway, especially as you ramp up your recruiting efforts. There's no way in hell that nowadays I could go out there and sell full-time on top of all the requirements that I now have as an agency owner. So I think it's important to start to gradually pull away from the sales side of this business as you start to develop your team and as they require more of you. So maybe you're doing 5 or 6 days in a week to start with, but maybe you start to pull back a day or two a week as you start to get further in your business and as you start to feel more confident in the override commissions coming in. And to eventually dwindle it down to just a few days a week to eventually nothing. And then where you can focus entirely on building your agency and growing your agency income completely. And that's it for my advice on going from agent to agency builder. I hope you enjoyed this video and got some value out of it. If you did, please subscribe and like this video. Leave a comment below if you have any comments or suggestions. Happy to have them anytime. And if you're interested in selling insurance or joining my agency to build an insurance agency, I support both. You can click the links above or below to learn more how it works. David Duford at Duford Insurance Group logging off. Thank you.